Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well and staying healthy. And I thought that under the circumstances, we could all use a good story. Now, of course, what kind of story would I think about? A rabbinic story. So I am now going to start a sequence of videos sharing what I think is an amazing rabbinic story. It's from different places in the Talmud. It involves a group of rabbis, a pretty small cast of characters that I thought might be interesting for you to follow. It involves politics, it involves Jewish law, it involves also relates to Pesach even. There's some magic involved. So I thought, what could be better than rabbinic story time? And I know you all have a shorter school day than usual, so why wouldn't you want to hear some rabbinic stories? So first I'm going to show you basically a chart of who we're talking about. It also gives you a sense as to the timing of when they lived. And we're talking about the following rabbis. Okay, Rabban Gamliel, and then you have Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai here over on the upper left of your page. He is the teacher of a couple of the characters, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, although Rabbi Yochanan does not himself appear in these stories. We have Rabbi Akiva. A lot of people have heard of Rabbi Akiva, of course. And what you also see, there's Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He is from the Haggadah. We'll talk more about what the connection is to Pesach. You see at the top of this page is Chorban Bayit Sheni, the destruction of the second Beit Mikdash, and that is also relevant in ways to this story, which we will explore. So that also happens during the lifetimes of the characters in this story. Actually, not Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He's the youngest one here, and he wasn't alive yet when he was destroyed, but he was born just 10 years later. Okay, so now let us go to our story. And the story is actually in the Talmud. Let's see if I can share it with you. Here we go. Okay, everything is going to work out totally fine technologically. There it is. I hope you can see it because I can. So basically the debate begins between Rabbi Yeshua and Rabban Gamliel around the calendar. Now that might not seem like the most exciting thing to argue about, but in fact the stakes are very high. To give the example from this particular context, the Torah says if you don't fast on Yom Kippur, you are subject to the death penalty. You will be struck down by God. And so getting that date right is obviously very important if you want to keep living. So there's a debate between Rabbi Yeshua and Rabban Gamliel, and Rabbi Yeshua is of the opinion actually that Rosh Chodesh is starting on a different day from what Rabban Gamliel says. And if Rosh Chodesh starts on a different day, then Rosh Hashanah starts on a different day, obviously, because Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of a month, and then that means that there's disagreement about when Yom Kippur is. Rabban Gamliel is offended by this, and he at the time is the authority, and he wants to demonstrate his authority. He is offended that Rabbi Yeshua has a different opinion. And he hears that Rabbi Yeshua has a different opinion and wants to demonstrate to everybody that actually Rabbi Yeshua's opinion cannot be the one that people follow, that it is the authority of Rabban Gamliel that is superior. I told you there was political intrigue. Now look, not everybody in this story behaves well, not with the best manners, and we'll see what happens actually about how in the end, one of the lessons we're learning from the story is basically how to behave. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to start with Halach. Shalach lo Rabban Gamliel. So Rabban Gamliel sends for Rabbi Yeshua when he hears Rabbi Yeshua has a different opinion that contradicts his. Gozrani alecha shetavo etzli b'makelcha b'motcha b'yom ha'kippurim shechal liot b'cheshboncha. So Rabbi Yeshua, you think Yom Kippur is on a certain day. I don't agree with you. To prove my point, I'm going to have you come to me with your staff and your money on the day you think is Yom Kippur. And of course, technically, according to Jewish law, one cannot carry on Yom Kippur. One cannot use money on Yom Kippur. So this would demonstrate to everybody that in fact Rabbi Yeshua is not keeping his own Yom Kippur. But Rabban Gamliel is too important to go by himself to send this message to Rabbi Yeshua and bring him to him. So he sends Rabbi Akiva, himself no slouch. Halachu mitzal Rabbi Akiva meitzer. Rabbi Akiva goes sadly to Rabbi Yeshua, feeling the pain of what's about to happen, the humiliation of Rabbi Yeshua. Amar lo, Yesh li lemod shekol ma she'asa Rabban Gamliel asoi. Now, Rabbi Yeshua actually has a very humble response. He says, I should learn that whatever Rabban Gamliel says is the way it is. Shene Amar, Ela Mo'odeh Hashem Mikrei Kodesh, Asher Tikro Otam B'Mo'adam. This is a great way to learn this pasuk. These are the festivals of God that are called holy, as you will declare them. In other words, in the Torah itself, it says whose holidays are they? God's holidays. Who declares them? Actually, the people who declare them is us. And in this case, Rabban Gamliel is the one who declared the holiday. That's Rabbi Yeshua's response. And then he continues, Bein bismanam, bein shelo bismanam, whether they're in the right time, or Rabbi Yeshua's opinion, the right time, or not, ein li mo'adot ela elu. There are no holidays except for the ones that Rabban Gamliel, as our leader, is deciding they are. Balo et Rabbi Dosa ben Horkanus amar lo. So then he went to Rabbi Dosa ben Horkanus and said to him, Im ba'im anu ladun achar beit dino shel Rabban Gamliel. If we're going to, so then Rabbi Yeshua doubles down on this idea of submitting to Rabban Gamliel. If we were going to question the authority of Rabban Gamliel, the Beit Din of Rabban Gamliel, tzrichin anu ladun achar kol beit din ubeit din, we would have to go back and reevaluate the decisions of every Beit Din. She'aman mimot Moshe v'ad achshav, from the time of Moshe until now, she'nemar, as it is written, Vayal Moshe v'Aaron Nadav v'Avihu v'shivim miziknei Yisrael, that when Moshe and Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, and the 70 elders of Israel go to meet with God, it doesn't say the names of the 70 elders. So from this, Rabbi Yeshua learns the following. Why were the elders not named? Then anytime you have a Beit Din, which the minimum is 3 people, making decisions for the Jewish people, this is like the Beit Din of Moshe, the 70 elders. It doesn't matter who the 3 are, just like we don't know exactly who the 70 were. The fact is they're the decision makers. They get to decide. So Yeshua, applying this lesson, takes his staff and his money. Rabban Gamliel is not in Jerusalem. He is in Yavne. Because as of now, the authority isn't in Jerusalem because of the destruction, and the rabbis have gone to different places. And Rabbi Yeshua goes on the day that is Yom Kippur, according to Rabbi Yeshua's calculation, and not Rabban Gamliel's. Amad Rabban Gamliel and Shako al Rosha. Rabban Gamliel sees this and kisses Rabbi Yeshua on the head. He says to him, Bo b'shalom Rabbi v'talmidi. In a little hint of humility, he says, come in peace, my teacher and my student. Rabbi, my teacher in wisdom. Okay, so Rabban Gamliel is actually conceding. We're going to come back to this. How much does truth carry the day? And how much is it a function of society's role as a whole, or those who have been designated by society to make decisions, even decisions that don't really seem to be the most truthful? Rabbi b'chokhmah, you are my teacher in wisdom. V'talmidi, you're my student. Shekibalta et devarai, that you accepted my authority. And it's not just Rabban Gamliel, by the way, deciding for himself that he's the authority, but it's the whole Jewish community deciding that he's the authority. And therefore, according to Rabbi Yeshua, he needs to be followed. So we'll pick up the story in a couple of days. I hope you enjoy this first installment of Rabbinic storytelling.